Okay, Rabbi Say, Shalom Aleichem to everyone. I would like to share with you an idea that I'm still cooking it, and I'd like to hear what the Olam has to say. So in the beginning of our weekly portion, okay, Shalom to everyone, Chavre. Mamash to the beginning. Perek Yud Gimel, Pasuk Kaf Aleph. Right? V'Hashem holech lifnehem yomam b'amud onan l'anchosam haderech v'layla b'amud esh la'ir lahem la'leches yoimam v'layla. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu is going in front of them in the Tmuz of Amud Onan and the Amud Esh at night. Okay, so says Rashi, towards the end of the first pasuk of Aleph, Afgan hadchosam ha'idei shaliach umi hu shaliach amud ha'anan v'HaKadosh Baruch Hu b'chvoidoi molicho lifnehem. Is it a shaliach or b'chvoidoi? Hadchosam ha'idei shaliach umi hu shaliach amud ha'anan v'HaKadosh Baruch Hu b'chvoidoi molicho lifnehem. So meaning that HaKadosh Baruch Hu himself is moving the Anan. That's what it means. Okay, so the Anan is a Shaliach who's being guided directly by HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Okay. Shari alidei Amud Anan hem holchim, okay, and Amud Anan ino la'ora, ela l'horotam haderech. Good. So the Maral, and that's in verse Hashem. Perek Mem explains something which I would like to go into a little bit tonight. He wants to know, why did HaKadosh Baruch Hu have to do everything himself? Yes, in Yetzias Mitzrayim it says, Ani v'lo malach, Ani v'lo sarav, and so on. But why does it have to go on after that? Okay. So he says the following. Ni. Here we are. Very good. So it's in verse Hashem Perek Mem. Verse Hashem Perek Mem. Everyone's going to buy this set and they'll be able to know. Verse Hashem Perek Mem on page Ayin Chet. If afterwards you want to look it up. Okay. V'Hashem holech lifnehem yomam b'amud anan. Says the Maral. Kevan sheyotzu miMitzrayim. Once they came out of Mitzrayim, ra'ui sheyilech HaKadosh Baruch Hu ba'atzmo lifnehem. Since they came out of Mitzrayim, it's appropriate that HaKadosh Baruch Hu himself should go in front of them to show them the way, lahaviyam el haaretz, to bring them to Eretz Yisrael. Ki ima ita horetzah yidei Hashem Yisbach. Here it means, because since the Yitzhak was done by HaKadosh Baruch Hu himself, ani v'lo malach, ani v'lo sarav, ani v'lo shaliach, and coming into Eretz Yisrael will not be by HaKadosh Baruch Hu, but natural event. It's impossible they're going to come out of HaKadosh Baruch Hu from Mitzrayim by HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and they're going to enter Eretz Yisrael in a different way. Al pi teva. That cannot go. Why? Ki ein ma'aseh echad l'shnei po'alim. You cannot divide one deed to two different po'alim. Kumo she'omru, ein shnei malachim osim shlichus echad. Ein malach echad oseh shtei shluchiyos that we know, but also ein shnei malachim, the same address. Ein shnei malachim osim shlichus achas. You cannot have two malachim. You can't. How was it when you have too many cooks? What happens at the? They spoil the pot. It's one. You need one cook. Having two cooks, ein shnei malachim. You cannot have one ma'aseh being done in two different ways. Here comes the main sentence. Coming out of Eretz Yisrael was the ultimate purpose is to come into Eretz Yisrael. Coming out of Mitzrayim, the ultimate purpose was to enter Eretz Yisrael. And Rabbi, when he's saying the word lahaviyam, which word do you think he's trying to echo? Vehevesi. You know that the Arba L'Shes Shel Gula, V'gahalti v'lakachti v'yitzalti v'otzeti, Vehevesi. I will bring them to Eretz Yisrael. Okay? Okay, ולקח, כיוון שהייתה ההוצאה בשביל להביאם אל הארץ, והיה הוא יתברך בעצמו פועל ההוצאה, because Baruch himself did the first part, ולפיכך היה הכל, גם ההבאה, על ידי הקדוש ברוך הוא. It's one mahalach. Because we came out of Mitzrayim to go to Eretz Yisrael. It's one enazach. Okay? והיה הולך לפניהם יומם ולילה, והקיפם בענונים שיהיו נשמורים, כל זה מפני שאין מעשה אחד לשני פועלים. You cannot split one deed to two. ועוד היה מפרנס אותם במן, הכל על ידי הקדוש ברוך הוא. So that whole journey from Mitzrayim till Eretz Yisrael until entering Eretz Yisrael is one mahalach. And since the beginning of the journey, HaKadosh Baruch Hu said, I'm doing it, the hamshech of the journey has to be that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is doing it himself as well. Just one nekuda Rabbi said, he kifam ba'anonim shiyu nishmarim. He kept them, he surrounded them with clouds that they should be protected. Rabbi said, the pasuk says that the Amud Anu was to show the derech, and chotam derech, not to protect them.
Wasn't that the later?
Oh, so Rabbi said, there's 7 Ananei Kovet, just connected on the seaside. 6 were surrounding Am Yisrael, and the 7th one is called Amud Anu. It's not an idea. I'll show you where this idea comes in very, very, very neatly. The 6 are surrounding them, from Yamin, Small, Achor, Kadima, on the top, and amongst them. Those are the 6. And then there's a 7th one that showed them the derech, which is part of the Ananei Kovet, but he has a special name called Amud Ha'anan. Rabbi said, I'll tell you where you have to say this. Everybody knows the word of the Goin when it comes to Sukkot, that how come Sukkot is the test of Tishrei? Even though we can't Ananei Kovet when he came out of Mitzrayim. So Rabbi said, what does the Goin say? Come on.
Because the Goin says that the Melachas HaMishkan was commanded on the 11th.
No, but what happened to the Ananei Kovet that we had in Tzitz Mitzrayim? They disappeared in the Chet HaEgel. And they came back then. That's the Goin's word. And the whole world asks Akasha on the Goin. That Ananei Kovet disappeared? I got him a fair pasuk that says the difference. I'll tell you the pasuk. In Nehemiah, Av ki asulem, in Nehemiah, Herektes, pasuk Yitches Yutes. What does it say in Nehemiah? Av ki asulem egel masecha, ואתה ברחמך רבים לא עזבתם במדבר, את עמוד ענן לא שם עליהם. ביומם להנחו שם בדרך. This before the Chet HaEgel. We don't know what's going to happen after Chet HaEgel. But this is before, the beginning of their journey. But maybe once Chet HaEgel came, everything disappeared. Could be. But it says Mefarish in Nehemiah that it didn't. It says Mefarish, it's relating to Chet HaEgel. אף כי עשו להם עגל מסכה, לא עזבתם, עמוד הענן לא שם עליהם. How could the Goin go against the Mefarish pasuk? The one who asked this kasha are many, but the Tzitz Eliezer, in the Hagdama to Chelik Tet, and in Chelik Tezvav, Simon Samachdal, asked this kasha. It's impossible the Goin didn't see this pasuk. What do you think he answers? The Amud Anu remained the whole time because it's showing us the way. The Ananei Kovet were mistalik and came back. It's a muchach according to the Goin to say that. So let's just remember it for Sukkot next time. That everyone quotes the Goin. Where's the Goin, by the way? Shir in Perik Aleph Pasuk Dad. Very good, Rabbi Yamin. That's what the Goin is. Tremendous. No one said it clearly before him. That when came Chet HaEgel, the Ananei Kovet were mistalik, and then they came back. Tezvav Tishrei, and he makes the cheshbon. Yom Kippur, Moshe Rabbeinu came down from Har Sinai. Yud Aleph Tishrei, he told the people to bring the material. Yud Beis and Gimel, it says Yiviyu B'Boiker. Yud Al, he called Kol Chachmei Lev, and on Tezvav Nisan he started to build the Mishkan. That's when the Ananei Kovet came back.
So for all that time, they weren't protected?
No?
In the middle of the Midbar?
Yeah.
Hashem still saved them from...
Yeah, but we didn't have an Ananei Kovet. That's what it says. So the Ananei Kovet were to protect us. The Amud Ha'anan is to show us where to go. And that, even, you have to say that. Again, the Tzitz Eliezer speaks about it in the Hagdama. You know what Tzitz Eliezer was going to say?
Time vice.
What?
Time vice.
No. The Bnei Waldenberg.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Okay. The same Kufa. It's okay. Same Kufa. Beseder? Very good. So says the Maharal that we got the VIP service till Eretz Yisrael. Because Yetzias Mitzrayim was done to bring us into Eretz Yisrael. So it's one Indian. Yeah. Yeah, but again, this pasuk could be up to Chatayim. Maybe not, but yeah, there's no raya. It's a maybe. It's a maybe. Okay, Rabbi say. Fine. Good. Now, this point that we came out of Mitzrayim for the purpose of to be enter Eretz Yisrael, these are psukim mefurashim in the Torah. Right? These are psukim mefurashim in the Torah, black on white. I'll read to you some psukim. In the beginning, Vayer lechem amol bnei Yisrael ni Hashem v'tzei yischem mitachat tzivot Mitzrayim ve'ves yischem al haaretz. V'otanu hotzim misham leman avi osanu l'sasanu l'eretz asher nishma l'avosenu. Right? And the Maharal says it over and over again. Over and over. מתחילה כאשר הוציא השם יזבח את ישראל ממצרים, היה לתת להם הארץ לירושה. To give them Eretz Yisrael. עיקר הקץ ממצרים היה להביאם אל הארץ. We came out of Mitzrayim to enter Eretz Yisrael. That might sound like a little bit of a chiddush, but it's pashut. I always say, yeah, with a little bit of trepidation and fear, that maybe that's the reason that Moshe Rabbeinu is not mentioned in the Haggadah. That you should, because Moshe Rabbeinu personifies, unfortunately, those who left Mitzrayim but did not enter Eretz Yisrael. And if you're going to commemorate Moshe Rabbeinu's role, it will come across that we're commemorating coming out of Mitzrayim. But it's a chatzi avodah. The main thing is to enter Eretz Yisrael. Eina mitzvah nikras el Hashem gomra. Like what says about Atzmos Yosef again in this week's parasha. Fine. What? The Gemara learns it because it says the Moshe Rabbeinu began. That says the Bnei Yisrael were male. Okay, very good. Now I want to. What? 100%. It says Befesh. Very good. Very good. So we Yidden living in Golus, we should know that we came out of Mitzrayim to enter Eretz Yisrael. Not entering Eretz Yisrael is Chatzi Avodah. Fine. So Rabbi says, so how come, so entering Eretz Yisrael and going to Mitzrayim and coming out of Mitzrayim, very important. And the journey between, 40-year journey, what about that? So I guess if the Aleph is Benisim and it's entering Eretz Yisrael is the goal, so whatever is between won't be less. It's like Akira Tzor Chanach, like the Gemara says. It's for that purpose. But of course, I want to ask a question. At the end of the day, though, it says in Rashi and Dvarim, if we wouldn't have sent Miraglim, we would have entered Eretz Yisrael without any need of war. A need of war. I'll show it to you. When does Rashi say it? Let's give a look. Okay. In the beginning of Sefer Dvarim, give a look over say. Kumu, where does it say in Sefer Dvarim? And Dvarim Perek Aleph. Perek Aleph. Pnu usulachem. Perek Aleph Pasuk Zayin. No, let's go by that. Where is the Chaveh? Perek Aleph Pasuk Kavbeis. No, but where does it say that without Meraglim we would have entered Eretz Yisrael? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Very good. Shkoyach B'Shlomo. Perek Aleph Pasuk Ches. Give a look at what does it say there in Dvarim? ראה נסעת בכם בור רשות הארץ אין מער בדבר ואינכם צריכים למלחמה אילו לא שלחו מרגלים לא היו צריכים כלי זין. You hear Rashi? If we wouldn't have sent malachim, we wouldn't have need arms. So how are you going to conquer a land of 31 malachim? Minas. At the end of the day, the Nisim, it did happen. We entered Eretz Yisrael as a result of Chet HaMeraglim, and we entered Eretz Yisrael totally b'derech hateva. There were Nisim done on the way, but Yeshua, look, it took 14 years. Right? Kovshul v'cholko. That's how we entered Eretz Yisrael. So what I say on this Nakuda, I want to read to you what the Ral says elsewhere and work out on this Nakuda. Okay. Here. The question I want to start with is, again, I maybe should have photocopied these pages. The Maral 20 prakim earlier says totally an opposite idea. I'll tell you what he says. In verse Hashem Perek Bet. Anybody recall what he says in verse Hashem Perek Bet? That's a very tough question to answer. What does he say in verse Hashem Perek Bet? The Medrash, he brought a Medrash. Vayinaheg et atzon achar hamidbar. That's a pasuk there. And right? Shmois Gimel. Bisroi she Yisrael akruim tzon yamusu bamidbar. Vayinaheg et atzon bamidbar. Achar hamidbar. It's alluding that the tzon, Am Yisrael, are going to die in the midbar. That first generation are going to die out. Says the moral there. Why? Those who came out of Egypt were not rolling to come into Eretz Yisrael. You need two separate generations for the two things that we were talking about. Yetzias Mitzrayim, entering Eretz Yisrael. Yetzias Mitzrayim ונסינת הארץ. Why? שהדבר הידוע האחד אינו טבעי לגמרי. Coming out of Mitzrayim was totally miraculous. שהוציא אותם באויסוס ומוסי. והשני, נסינת הארץ של 7 אומות, that was done על פי טבע. ומעלות מחולקות הם אלו 2 מעלות. אין רואי שיהיה לדור אחד. במה שהדברים שנתן להם כשיצאו ממצרים, בניסים ונתינת הארץ כמנהיגו של העולם. So he says, it had to be split. It had to be split. You can't have Dor Yotzei Mitzrayim entering Eretz Yisrael. Because it's such different hanogas. Coming out of Eretz Yisrael, of Mitzrayim is Nisim, and entering Eretz Yisrael is a Piteva. There has to be a slash here. Those who left Mitzrayim are not going to be those who enter Eretz Yisrael. And those who enter Eretz Yisrael are not going to be those who left Mitzrayim.
How do you separate between Teva and Nes?
Russia. Teva. Very simple. I don't have any conditions to say. Whatever's natural is called Teva. Whatever is against natural is called Nes. Entering Eretz Yisrael was B'derech HaTeva. So now the Maral explains that they had to be 2 separate Torahs. And over here, what does he say? It's one go. Leaving Mitzrayim, entering Eretz Yisrael, it's one Mahalach. Isn't that a blatant contradiction?
Because isn't that an hog of Teva only after the Chet?
Oh, so the answer is, before Chet HaEgel, Chet HaMeraglim, it would have been one big miraculous journey. But once we did Chet HaMeraglim, and lied, like Rashi says, now we're going to go according to Teva, and we need arms, and we need everything like any other people need, it snapped. So how come for 40 years we still had man and we still had Anunek Koven and Esh? Again, no, it's not Shach that's immediately. It's Pasha not Shach. It's Pasha not Shach. At least 28 seconds, I'm thinking. Pasha. Again, Nochamo. What did the Maral say by us? We came out of Mitzrayim, B'Nisim. We're going to have to enter Eretz Yisrael, B'Nisim, because that's one go. It's one Malach. Mimela also, what's between the two, will also be B'Nisim, because it's one journey, it's the Inyan Echad. Ein Zach. But then the Maral himself says, in Perek Chaf, he quotes the Medrash, that those who left Mitzrayim could not enter Eretz Yisrael. And those, because it's 2 different Hanagas. One's Nisim, one's Teva. So, and obviously the answer will be, Shia saying, that once Chet HaMeraglim occurred, we snapped it. We stopped out Nogav Nisim. But when was Chet HaMeraglim done? The second year, we still have another 38 years to wander in the desert. And for those 38 years, we still had all what the Maral is talking about. An uncovered man, Amud Esh, and we explained the reason why you have these Nisim, because it's on the way entering Eretz Yisrael. But when we entered Eretz Yisrael, at the end of the day, it was on Pitama. So how can it be that the way going to Eretz Yisrael will have credentials that Eretz Yisrael doesn't have anymore? I think it's a Gabaldik Akasha. Once Chet Egel was committed, I understand there was Plan A, and now there's Plan B. I understand. The Plan A was everything will be in one Mahalach. B'Nisim. That was Plan A. But came Chet Egel. As a result of Chet Egel, what was the punishment of Chet Egel? The first door will die out, and the second door will enter.
You're saying but Teva, I'm saying to you.
What?
You're saying the Chet, after Chet was Teva.
No, not the Chet was Teva. Entering Eretz Yisrael was not Teva.
Right.
War.
But I'm saying, but after Chet, was the Mahane therefore Teva and therefore not?
It's not, but we still had our Ner Kovet, and we still had all these
There's
Nisim.
a semblance of Nes in there, but it's more.
Because we had Nisim going on for 39 years. And the question is, if Chet Meraglim stops it and says from now on the Nisim era is over, how can we have Nisim for another 38 years? That's the question. Beseder. Sheila Muvenet? Geshmak? Alive and kicking? I can't hear. Yeah? Good. Beseder. Rashi says in Sanhedrin, David Ches, that a loud voice is more chiyus than a quiet voice. You know that? Okay? Yeah? Beseder, guys.
Can I get on a limb?
So that's the kasha. So Rabbi said, I want to say something a little bit crazy. Not crazy, Hashem. A little bit mechudesh. What's my question? If the Chet Meraglim now made the entry to Eretz Yisrael al Piteva, and that's a Meferish Rashi. That's a Meferish Rashi, not a Maral. It's a Chazal that Rashi's
How are
quoting.
they going to survive in the midbar?
Without Nisim.
Without Nisim.
Oh, so-
You can't have it both ways.
You get 100%. But I want to understand, good. But the way the Maral explains it here, that it's a Hemshech of Yitzias Mitzrayim, the whole journey to Eretz Yisrael is a Hemshech to Yitzias Mitzrayim. You're right. Rabbi Yomin's asking good. You're in a midbar for 40 years. How are you going to survive? How are you going to survive? True. But the Maral is saying that there was Nisim in the midbar, not because otherwise how we're going to survive. The Maral explained because the Hanaga of Nisim goes up to Eretz Yisrael, including everything on their journey as well. So my question is, if at the end of the day we entered Eretz Yisrael, al pi derech hateva, how could it be that the journey towards Eretz Yisrael is b'nisim, not only because otherwise how are you going to survive, the way Binyamin says, which is a good point, but because it's ba'etzem. Okay. So, Rabbi Yitzchak, you feel better? Yeah. Good. Okay, is the question understood? Meaning, the chura, the nisim that occurred on the derech, the anan, the esh, is because we're on the way to Eretz Yisrael, and Eretz Yisrael is the Gemara of Yitzias Mitzrayim. So everything on the way will have the same VIP treatment. That's what the Maral says here, in Gvuras Perek Mem. And the question is, but it didn't happen at the end of the day. From Chet Meraglim, we already know that. Okay, you hear of David. Chai v'toses. What would Rav ask me every time I came in? Atachai? That was the question.
There was a
Yes.
significant proportion.
Well, I'm sorry?
There was a significant proportion of Klal Yisrael that weren't Isaac and Chet. Actually, it was a Nezachus. They still deserved that hog of Nef.
Maybe they still deserve it. It could be. It could be as a Malach. Rabbi said, but I would like to go with the Rishus Tzibur to another Maral. In the Siva Avoida Perek. And the Maral in the Siva Avoida Perek quotes the Gemara in Soita Daf Kav Beis Amud Beis. And over there, what does it say Daf Kav Beis Amud Beis? The Gemara over there is learning the idea of Schal Psias. And the Gemara says explicitly a story with an Almana that if you live in a neighborhood and there's one shul next door to you, and there's a shul which is further away from you, and you go to the further away shul, you get Schal Psias. Even though you could stop earlier. You have a good shul with a nice minyan right next to your house. But if you decide to walk to Hager's, even though Hendon Adas is right next door, you get Schal Psias. We're not getting into severe politics here. Says the Maharal, this is only by a shul. But if you say you have two sukkahs, one sukkah nearby and another sukkah further away, and you're going to decide to go to the further away sukkah, there will not be extra schapsias. You could have stopped at the earlier sukkah. You decide to go on, fine, but you won't get schar for that. You hear Reb Shlomo? Kavbesa with Aleph, towards the bottom. Soita Kavbesa with Aleph, towards the bottom. Okay? Says the Malach, by sukkahs it won't happen. Anybody want to say why? I'll read you the Lashon of the Malach. In the Siva Avoida, Perek. I'm sorry? Well, you can say that's my shul. He quotes the Gemara. שיש ללכת לבית כנסת שהוא יותר רחוק מן האדם, מפני שהוא נותן שכר פסיעס. says the Maral, ויהי רואה, כי אין הדין הזה גבי סוכה. שאם יש לו שתי סוכס, האחת קרובה ואחת רחוקה, שאינו ללכת לסוכה הרחוקה, בשביל שהוא נותן שכר פסיעס, כי אם גבי בית כנסת אמרו. It's only by a shul. The chap of the Maral, what about two sukkahs?
It's not a hefsha mitzvah. The mitzvah is sitting in a sukkah. But your mitzvah is the letters to go and love.
Where? Where's that go? It's the Daven. It's the Daven. Where's it said to go? Where's it said to go? The Daven. V'zeh. So I'll read you what the Lashon Maral is. In the beginning, we'll sound a little bit obscure, and afterwards, it will be even more obscure. Okay, let's hear. That's the journey that's ahead of us now. V'zeh. Zok the Heilike Maral. Goin Yisrael b'kodshev Am Yisrael. Ki Hashem Yisborach matzui b'bet knesset. Kodesh Baruch Hu dwells in a shul. K'may she'amru ki beis hamikdash hu mikdash ma'at. A shul is called mikdash ma'at, meaning a place of dwelling. Yeah. Ulakach Hashem Yisborach matzui b'beis haknesses. HaKadosh Baruch Hu dwells in a shul. ולפיכך כאשר הולך לבית כנסת, הוא נמשך אל השם יזבח, להיות לו דבקוס בו יזבח. וידוע, meaning, when you walk into a shul, it's part of a relationship. You're going towards the other party, which happens to be HaKadosh Baruch Hu. וידוע כי המשנועה על דבר, when you're going towards something, הוא דבקוס גמור. אם המתנועה, it's דבקוס גמור with the one that you're going towards to, יותר ממישהו כבר קורב אצלו. Remember this, you said around that walking towards something? It's more than being there already. כי המתנועל דבר אינו עמו, ואם כל זה הולך אליו, וזהו דבקס וחיבור גמור, והדבר הזה בעל למעלה גם כן. ולכך אמר שהקדוש ברוך הוא מונה פסיעותיך, כי הפסיעה יותר רחוקה, כי הכל הוא לפי התנועה. כי אם הולך מרחוק, הרי זה מורה דבקוס גמור בו יסבורך. לכן הולך מרחוק. Well, yes. I'm not leaving. I'm not entering. I'm just entering it. What does the Bible say? Again, the Yisod that when you're walking towards something, especially if it's a relationship between two people, and you're willing to make a big walk towards the other person, it shows a relationship. It shows a dvekus. Walking to a shul is walking to meet HaKadosh Baruch Hu. You don't have that in mitzvahs. Of course, every mitzvah to a certain degree is, it's Dvar Hashem. But walking towards Hashem, push it to meet Him. Push it to be, so to speak, in His presence. That's what it means to be in a Shechina. No. It's not Shem Hashem. It's not Shechina in a sukkah. It's not. Zeh lo matzanu. A Shechina in a sukkah. Like that. In a shul, it's called Mikdash Ma'at. You're there talking to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Obviously, everything has a little bit Shechina. Tzilat Memnusa. Let's just finish the point, because it's really an interesting point. In sukkahs, again, you could do it earlier. There's no need to go the extra step. What are you doing it for? Okay, you want to do it, but there's no schar for it. But when you're doing the extra step, walking to shul, that shows more dveikus to Hashem than if you live next door. Because if you live next door, I could say you came in because it was convenient. It was convenient. But when you're coming from far, what does that show? It shows a real passion. And since it shows the more passion, there's more dveikus. The bigger the passion, the bigger the dveikus. Right? So Mimele, by shul, there's the inyan to go as far as you could, Because every step that you're taking from a distance is a bigger dveikus than if it's nearby. So therefore, do it as far as you could go. Masha'ekin l'gabe other mitzvahs, it's not that you're going now to speak and meet Hashem. So it doesn't show the yearning, I want to get to Hashem. Therefore, there's no really advantage of taking those extra steps. Masha'enken, when you're taking extra steps to going to a shul, well, how would you define it? What are you showing? A what? The dveikus to Hashem, that I'm going from so far to meet you. The further away, I'm coming from so far. The point is, I'm making a major efforts to meet Hashem.
Yeah, but I'm going to that shul. I'm going to every shul all the way, and 10 shuls on the way.
I don't know if that's such a kasha.
If I want to be in Hashem's presence, I'll do it now, not half an hour. Should we get to the next shul?
That's exactly the point. That's exactly the point that I'm saying. When you're walking, there's a certain kind of dveikus more than when you're there. That's his point. The walking shows the thirst, the yearn, the chukka. Well, you're there. You're there. You're already there. It's obviously you're already there. Let's read this lashon of the Malach. He says it again. Ki mitnoel davar harei ino imo. He's not with Hashem. Ve'im kozehu olech elav. Meaning, I'm still going. But once you're there already. But when you're showing that drive, that thirst, that's what you show when you don't have a Kodesh Baruch Hu, and I'm going after him. Rabbi say again, like the Malach says in another Gemara, that Rabbi Yossi had a special bakosha. Once I die, the Gemara in Shabbos Taf Kuf Yud Ches Amud Beis, yeh chelki im hameisim b'derech mitzvah. Once I die, I'm going to die one day. I have a bakosha. I should be dying. I'm on the way going to doing a mitzvah. Ask the Rabbi, why not when you're already doing the mitzvah? If you're already asking, so ask more. Not when I'm going to the shul. No, when I'm already in the shul. There's Laftavka shul. I should be when I'm on the way. Why not when you're already there? It says about the same side. I want to leave the world when I'm in a shvung. When I'm going. But once I'm there, I'm there. I already have it. I don't think it's a psychological nakuda, but it's also true psychologically. You remember how we treat the Alba meaning before, in those 4 days between Yom Kippur and Sukkah? We put it on the side and wrap it up and the chimu, right? And then once comes Yom Tov, we take the lulav of 2 minutes and we put it on the side. Gaga. Once it's already there, it's already in your pocket. Yeshli itzikva. Echobdos. Echobshondos. Echshonobdos. What's the lesson? I have it already. Yeshli itzikva. Right? I always tell that when we got this shiur for Chassanim, when we were in yeshiva, the Rebbe would say, you should run after your wife like when you ran after when you were engaged. Not once you already have her, she's in your kitchen, show me some. Always be, okay. Right? To keep it up for 40, 50 years, it's not so pashut, right? Look as a pashut. That's what he told us. To a certain degree, you should always feel that you're running after her. Or she should at least feel. This is Nakuda. Since going to a shul is about a relationship with the Kodesh Baruch Hu, the more distance you walk, it shows more of a passion. This does not exist by sukkahs, by sukkah. And therefore, you don't gain really anything more by walking more. But in a shul, you're showing a deeper thirst. Okay. Look at major efforts I'm willing to invest to go see HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And the bigger the efforts, the bigger the thirst. That's what the Malach says here. I'm sure there's more what to add to it, but that's what he says. What am I learning from this Malach? Normally walking to something, like walking to a sukkah for that matter, it's like I said before, someone said before, hechsher mitzvah. It can't be more than the mitzvah itself. It cannot be. It's means to get to the mitzvah. Because how am I going to get there? Okay, so I got to walk there. But there's no chashivas be'etzim on walking to a mitzvah. But walking to a shul, there's a chashivas be'etzem. It's not only means to reach your destination. That's what all walks are. Again, I got mashal that I usually give. If you're walking, because you're walking to your job place, you're walking to your office, you're walking to your school. You live here, and the school's there, and you walk. So what is the walking? Means to reach the school. The shorter, the better. If someone will stop by in the middle and ask for and offer you a lift, I'll take it. But if you're walking with your wife to the school and back, and someone's going to say, "Would you want a lift?" What?
No, thank you, one or two.
Yeah, no, thank you. And oy vavoy will say, if you take the lift, stop. It's a kamashma, right? What happened? Because the walk's now a goal in its own. Yes, we said we're going to walk to the school and come back, let's say. But the walk is not just means to get there. It's a goal on its own. Walking to a shul is a goal on its own. In addition, just to reach the shul. Because if it's just to reach the shul, the shorter the better. And if you had shuls on the way, why don't you pop in there? But it comes out that walking to mitzvahs are means to an end. Walking to a shul, to where HaKadosh Baruch Hu is residing, and I'm going towards Hashem, is part of a relationship, and there it's not just a means to an end. It's an end in itself. A boy say, maybe you could say the following then. Eretz Yisrael is a shul. Eretz Yisrael is Mokum Shechina. When you walk to Eretz Yisrael, I would want to mechadish, but tell me, I don't think it's such a big chadish. It's lo gora than walking to a shul. Because what's so special about Eretz Yisrael? The Mokum Shechina. Eretz asher inei Hashem Elokecha ba, mireshis hashana ad achis shana. Eretz Yisrael is about being with Hashem. And that's Pasha. Kulam u'moedim. How come there's more mitzvahs in Eretz Yisrael than elsewhere? Because mitzvahs is part of a kesher, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu's there. Do you agree with me that walking to Eretz Yisrael is not less than walking to a shul? Would you agree? Yeah.
But when HaKadosh Baruch Hu told us to build the Mishkan after the Teda Eiko, it's like he brought the shul to us.
Yeah, but it's temporary. It's not like Eretz Yisrael. Because we're on the journey. To a certain degree, for sure. But it's not like Eretz Yisrael and Beis Hamikdash, which is a binyan kavua. But for sure we had, for sure, I'll bring you right to what you're saying, so. Nachon ma'od.
You're saying the Shalosh Regalim itself is an end in itself.
I'll come to Shalosh Regalim in a minute. I didn't speak about Shalosh Regalim at all.
No, I'm saying, but
Yeah. Wait a second, I just want to finish this, one Nakuda. Therefore, I don't have a problem to say that even if though the entering Eretz Yisrael at the end will be tevadik, but the journey has its own chashivas, meaning since the Chet HaMeraglim Be'etzim only kicked in entering Eretz Yisrael, that when we entered Eretz Yisrael now we have to do it al pi teva. So why should what happened later at the end should have hashpah on what's earlier? Because that's what we understood till now. It's just what's between. It just means to get to Eretz Yisrael. And since Eretz Yisrael at the end of the day will be al pi teva, how could it be that the means towards Eretz Yisrael will be more than that? But now that you're saying, like Rabbi Yosef said before, that it's the walking is a means of its own. It's a shtukikus towards Hashem. So whenever the teva will kick in, it will kick in. Why should it have an effect earlier on the journey? So I mean, lema davar doimeh. I'm trying to come up with a mashal. If a person walks to a shul, and by the time he comes to the shul, there was an earthquake, and there's no more shul. No one got hurt. The Sefer Torah also said, I want to give a mashal without any tragedy. Maybe something better. Maybe something better. Yeah. Why earthquake? He couldn't go at the end of the shul. At the end, there was some kind of technicality that did not enable him to get into the shul. It was flooded. It was raining, but he was walking towards it. Does he get schapsis? I think absolutely. You know what? Even if you knew it in advance, then it's a little bit of a chiddush. But let's say I'm going to the shul. Hi, at the end, something will. I'm showing my ishtoikakus. If he knew in advance that the shul will be closed, and he still walked to it because HaKadosh Baruch Hu's in that shul, that would be even a bigger chiddush to say that. But I'll call upon him by saying, once we say that the walking is a means of its own, mimele, it doesn't bother me that at the end, mamish, they entered a pitach hateva. That kicked in then. Whenever that happened, it happened. Bnei Yisrael did Chet HaMeraglim. By this, they're showing Eretz Yisrael walking that we want it to be al piteva. What ish tachas gefnoi, ish tachas te'enosoi. That's how we want it. But that doesn't diminish from the journey till Eretz Yisrael that we are expressing. It had just like Yetzias Mitzrayim was done by Nisim, the walking to Eretz Yisrael will also be done by Nisim, in Nisim, because it's like three parts to one journey. Yetzias Mitzrayim was Nisim, the walking is Nisim, the entering at the end was not Nisim. So if the whole chashivas of the walking is just to get you to the end, so then it will be hard to understand how could the walking be more than the end? How could the means be more than the end? But if it's not just means to an end, but it's a shtoikakus to be with HaKadosh Baruch Hu, that's what this journey shows. So it's not going to be batal because what happened at the end? Can I add maybe even one more nakuda? To a certain degree, you know what Chet HaMeraglim did? That we get now schar psiyos walking to Eretz Yisrael. What do you say about that idea? If it wouldn't have been for Chet HaMeraglim, how long would it take to go to Eretz Yisrael? Where's Rashi? With the Dvarim. Where's it? Achat Asayom, right? Where's that? In the beginning of Dvarim? Yeah. Where's Rashi say it? Yeah. אחד עשר יום מחורב, אמר להם משה ראו, מה גרמתם? אין לכם דרך קצרה מחורב לקדש, ואתם הלכתם אותו ב3 ימים. Right? But then, כ"ט סיוון שלחו את המרגלים, מקדש ברנע, מה שמקס לחשבן, ובשביל שקלקלתם, הסב אתכם סביבות הר שעיר מהם שנה. So it was supposed to be a journey that would take max 11 days. It says even more. The 11 days we did in 3 days.
Yeah. That only started in Kaf Iyah.
Right?
Of the second year.
It's the second year. So, right? וכל אותה הייתה השכינה מתלבט בשכם למהר בידכם על הארץ. ובשביל שקלקלתם, so again, how long would it take if they wanted them Chet HaMeraglim? It would have been a lot shorter. You're right. These are 11 days till Har Seir. Good. But because Chet HaMeraglim, we're now stuck on a much longer journey. Could you say that now, it's like now we got to do circles to go to the shul? And we're going to get now schal psiyas that otherwise we wouldn't have gotten?
Yeah, if you say the Eretz Yisrael is a shul, then yes.
Isn't that an interesting chap? That the positive side of Chet HaMeraglim is we're getting much more schal psiyas walking to Eretz Yisrael.
Isn't it just for the second generation, not for the first generation? Because really, Vayachal Behevel Imahim or something in Tehillim, if the first generation knew
They're not going to make it.
They were going nowhere.
This I'm just wondering, if you're walking to a shul that won't be open at the end, and you even know it, maybe you still get schal psiyas.
They weren't walking there. They knew that they were condemned.
But they're getting closer to Eretz Yisrael. It still has to be hammered out. Like they say, Moshe Rabbeinu was buried pretty close to Eretz Yisrael. They say that in the Chevra Kadisha they would say, how come lo noda makom kvoso shel Moshe? They said that HaKadosh Baruch Hu did it maybe to punish a little bit the Chevra Kadisha or something, because if you would have known makom kvoso, do you know how much money the Chevra Kadisha would have made on that? You're 10 miles from Moshe, you're 20 miles from Moshe, you're 40 miles from Moshe. Well, you know, there's been a rate. And now you don't know where he is, so there's no rate anymore. And that's like a bdicha. I see everybody like the chocolate. Shkoyach. That's one thing that there's a chiluk. I must say, one thing a chiluk between. The Chashav Yid was telling me that they're trying to open up a yeshiva now in London. And they said tomorrow night will be a meeting. They're going to see if there's room for it. It's still very much in the preliminary stages. Yeshiva G'dayla. Rabbi Greenberg's son. It's called Unas and Shmuel. And he's involved in it, and he came to speak to the boys in our base the other day. And again, it's a far shot, but we can't miss it. Everything starts with small steps. And he was telling that Americans and Israelis, Americans and English boys, are different breeds. They're totally different. There's a man that they have an English yeshiva. That's what he said. And I told him, on this point, I beg to differ. My 16 years in England shows me that the chilukim between the English and American boys is just the font. You know the font in the computer? If it's this font or that font, there's like 500 fonts. That's the chiluk. But chutz is at the moment, I don't see any chiluk. Be'emes. Here they say Lou, in America they say bathroom. Fine. Rabbi Chol, what do you think?
I think there's some differences.
What?
I think there's some differences.
There are differences, but of course there's differences. But it's like different billion? Meaning English boys need a different process?
I think the cosmetics is different.
What?
The cosmetics is different. The chitzonius is maybe a little bit
The
different.
chitzonius.
Once you think Dachshund and David.
I must tell you, I see it every day. I see the issues I have with the boys here. It's exactly the same issues I had everywhere else. It's chitzoni. They express it this way, they express it that way. It's chitzoni. It's not ba'etzem. I deal with both people the whole time.
No, the panimis is the same.
It's a font. The font of the computer. That's how I look at it.
In Hakafel, we had the American by the English. They were not the same.
Again, if you want to focus on the differences, vakasha. But if you want to understand that 95% were the same, and the differences are 5%, fine. We have the ability, let's focus on the 5%. And let's fight about it. We can do that. But it's 5%. It's less than 5%.
Lakewood has American boys and English boys.
What?
Lakewood has American boys and English
No,
boys.
and the issue basically so there are differences, but is it a chiluk mechalik? I don't think so. I don't see it. Meaning, nafkemina l'maisa, do English boys need a different kind of yeshiva because they're different? No.
The American standard of education is much higher.
We're speaking about the yeshivas now.
I know, but it's not.
Look, Ashok. We're speaking now about the yeshivas. Okay, that's it. I don't know if he agreed with me, but fine. I can just say from my experience that I have. I may say that this Nakuda, I'm probably more experienced than most people. Because I'm an American Israeli, I'm here in England for 16 years. So, I don't see a chiluk. Especially today, guys, that everyone's on the smartphone and we all watch the same thing. That's my nafkamina. We're one big village. Be'emet. There are differences. Hey, with any two people, there's differences. And the chokhmah of life is you pick your fights, right? One of my friends is a big tzioni. He's a very close friend of mine. I'm not such a big tzioni like him. But we made a mental decision. Listen, we're going to focus on the 99% that we agree on. And we're the 1% that we disagree on, we'll avoid. We all agree Torah Sinai, Torah Shval Peh, Nevi'im, and to keep every sivkot of the Mishabru and the Shal Tzil. So we agree on that? Yeah. So we'll leave it like that. What do you do on Hey we here for 10 minutes? You say Al Yosef? Fine. You want to focus on that and have a big machlekes? Vakasha. But isn't that blowing it out of proportion? If it's two from Yidden that are trying their best to be Oived Hashem? Nevis. How do we get to this Nakuda? There's one point here. It's not so much looking at this year that there is a major difference between Americans and British. The sense of humor. That's Svei Bilius. So again, how much is that part of your day? Kama. The joke that you said. Again, there's some which are shova l'chol nefesh, and there's some that Americans can think it's hilarious and English not, or vice versa. No. So we're starting a special yeshiva for English boys because they have a different sense of humor. Could you imagine? They have a different sense of humor. We're starting a new yeshiva. I don't buy it. Okay, Rabbi, so these points still have to be elaborated, Chavre, but the idea is, to a certain degree, ironically, Chetem Araglim added Schar Psias entering to Eretz Yisrael, and Binyamin's adding even the door that knew they're not going to enter, which is a very good nakuda. Maybe it's only the second door, or those who are going to enter at the end. I have a tzad to say even if you don't enter at the end. I'm just kidding. I'm getting closer. I'm getting close to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. I want, I'm sorry?
Those that weren't going to enter were enough of the ones that are going to enter.
I'm sorry?
Those that weren't entering were enough of the ones that were entering. That alone might be.
They're alone. The Levoy.
Yeah.
The Levoy. Okay, Rabbi. But I'll call Parim. So what we learned today is that Yitzias Mitzrayim is the opening chapter, which is concluded in entering Eretz Yisrael. Their journey on the way is also part of it. Is it just means to an end, or it has a chashivas of its own? And that would be an afkamina about touching up the miracles that happened in those 39 years. Beseder, that's what we learned today. I want to wish everybody L'shona haba. Last week was a terrible terrorist attack in Eretz Yisrael. We all know it. Adichducha shel nefesh. So Geshboch Be'ez Hashem should be perished the Aranei Kovet, which we said is the Shmira on Achenu Yoshvei, Achenu V'Chusenu Yoshvei Eretz Yisrael. Okay. Will do.